We see the impact of mental health every day in our community. This May, Journey Mental Health Center is hosting a series of events for Mental Health Awareness Month, including a high-energy night out of drag bingo, a youth mental health luncheon featuring a powerful lineup of local health, education, and family systems leaders, plus a live fireside chat with Olympic medalist Molly Seidel. That's all right here in Madison to break down the stigma around mental health. Find details and get tickets at journeymhc.org/MHAM.
Hey Madison, it's executive producer Haley Sperling here. At the end of today's episode, I've got a sponsored interview with the CEO of Journey Mental Health Center. Sarah Valencia is going to talk to me about the incredible events they have lined up for Mental Health Awareness Month this May, and how every ticket and donation goes directly towards supporting mental health services right here in our Madison community. This conversation is brought to you by Journey Mental Health Center, so stick around, you're going to want to hear this one.
This is CityCast Madison. I'm Bianca Martin, and here's what Madison's talking about. Before we get into the show, I want to give the hugest chain of lakes size thank you to all of you who became new members of CityCast Madison last week. You came through. After all, we call folks CityCast Madison neighbors for a reason. 65 of you signed up so far. Thank you to Natalie K, Ryan L, Shahira M, Isla E, Megan R, Dan B, JJM, and Alyssa L. You really heard the call, and it means the most. Alongside Jason G, Sandy F, Annie B, Jessica M, and Robert R. Thank you to everyone who's joined our Neighbors program. We could not do this without you. And I have to tell you, being honest here, we still did not meet our goal of 125 new neighbors last week. But we've got real momentum, y'all. Hope has been restored to my heart. We're more than halfway to our goal. We need 60 more of you to become neighbors today, and we might actually pull this thing off or get that much closer. Thank you to more new neighbors who heeded the call this week. Connor K, Brooke W, Mary K, Zorba P, the doctor's in, Jupiter R, Gail G, Stephanie N, and Francie D. Be like them. If you have the means and this show has ever made you feel more connected to the city, we need your support. Go to membership.citycast.fm/Madison. More thanks to Molly F, Casey O, Beth V, and Susan N. I know, y'all, we really got a lot more folks in at the buzzer, and we're halfway there. Here's why Dan B joined the membership program. They said, I have been listening to CityCast Madison for a long time. You can feel the genuine intention and care from everybody. The interviews, discussions, and stories strike an incredible balance that I haven't found anywhere else. Thank you all for the intention, care, and energy you put into highlighting all of Madison. Thanks, Dan! And to all of you out there still on the fence, joining today might be the most important thing you do as you get your week started. Because trust me, we want to wrap this up so we can focus on what's happening at City Hall and the best local events to bring you pretty much exclusively. This is officially your time to hop off the fence, be brave, sign up at membership.citycast.fm/Madison. You won't regret it. It just takes a couple of minutes and it's only $10 a month. Plus, being a member gets access to all kinds of perks, like invites to our members-only events, a curated events email handpicked by our team, and access to our Friday bonus segments. I think that's worth $10 a month, don't you? And turns out we still have a few of those awesome custom CityCast Madison Oxford pennants available, our unique to this campaign welcome gift. It has a big Madison inscribed at the center, alongside it the phrase, I live here on purpose, next to a pair of flamingos. There's only a few of those left, so join now to get this exclusive welcome gift. Once they are gone, they are gone. But even more important than perks, you'll be investing directly in this local platform, putting your dollars to work right away and supporting this community and this essential local conversation. Thank you for showing up for CityCast Madison and helping us get closer to our goal. I have one more group of neighbors to thank: Jan F, Sarah M, Leah K, Mike C, and Emily MF. Seriously, thanks, y'all, for everyone who just joined and for everyone who's been supporting us over the years. Plus, thank you to those of you who are about to join today at membership.citycast.fm/Madison. Okay, let's talk Circus World. Today, have you been to the greatest show on earth? The Circus World Museum's spring season just kicked off in our neighboring city to the north, Baraboo, and we want to know what this historically significant, fun for families, and fascinating place has cooking in the modern year of 2026. What does the Big Top Circus look like today, and what is there to learn at this National Historic Landmark? With me now is the director of Circus World, Scott O'Donnell. Scott, welcome to our greatest show on earth, CityCast Madison.
Well, thank you. It's such a pleasure to be here. I always say most places are circuses. We just have the official title. So I feel like I'm at home.
You're a keen observer of the world, and that's what it takes. Well, you did just open up for the 2026 season. How are you feeling about what's on deck this year?
Oh, we are super excited. Of course, this is our 67th season, and I think we're looking fresh at 67. We've done our crunches, and we're ready to go. So all things celebrating, of course, this amazing legacy of the circus within the state of Wisconsin, with over 100 circuses coming from this great state over the years. It's unequal to any other state in the nation. So we proudly celebrate that history each and every day here, because children of all ages, their eyes light up. It's so fun to watch. Kids walk in and they got their head buried in their device, and they're like, what are we here to see? And by the time they leave, that device is in their pocket and their face is painted, and they got some dry cotton candy on their cheeks, and they're like, this was so cool. When can we come back? It's amazing that this art form that's been around longer than America, as we celebrate our 250th anniversary here this year as a nation, and we celebrate it here as the focus of our Big Top show for the summer ahead, Jubilee 250. So really leaning into, and I practice it, I hope I get it right, the semi-quincentennial of America.
Ooh.
That's a good Scrabble word.
Beautiful. Yeah,
Thank
you nailed it. You crushed it.
Okay. So yes, we opened this past Monday for our 67th season. Right now, what I call it is the greatest museum on earth, where you get to explore the 64-acre campus, which is filled to the gills of the most star-spangled, literally spangled, artifacts and exhibits telling this robust history. And really the 360 version of it, not just the performers and performing animals, but the people behind the scenes that booked the circus and moved the circus. Then starting on May 15th, our Big Top comes to life, and that's the signature piece of our programming here at Circus World. And we fill it full of amazing talent from the world over. And it's so amazing to sit no farther than 50 feet away, and you can see the bead of sweat on the performer's brow, and there's no CGI or AI here under the Big Top. It's real, and it's live and in person.
I love that you centered this in one of the main offerings, which is being present with your family and kids, and that this could make someone put their phone down and pay attention, because the circus show is sizzling, it's dazzling, and that's the whole point. Like, this is a show that sells, and that's why it's been around for so long and so successfully.
And people are wanting you to laugh, or they're showing you death-defying tricks, that really these timeless traditions that have been passed down through the generations are here for everybody to explore and enjoy.
And man, I have to share just some level setting that I did grow up in Baraboo, where I spent many happy days at the Circus World. Probably a quarter of my family's photos from growing up are at Circus World. So like, we're all across the museum, on the carousel. I grew up marveling at the outfits that the acrobats wore. And in fact, later on during the pandemic, I bought myself like carnival outfits. And I know it's from that core journey of mine as a kid. Watching circus performers and wanting to be bedazzled and all of the things.
It's in the DNA of this community. I mean, if you visit or grow up here, it's part of your system, I would say.
I absolutely agree. And it's funny because I don't live in Baraboo anymore, but everywhere I've lived, people know so many of us, and they say, what's in the water in Baraboo? And I think it's something, and it might be circus related.
I'm right there with you. And it's amazing the world over. So I had a chapter in my career where I got to travel the world booking talent for Ringling Brothers Barnum Bailey Circus. And I did a 2-day camel caravan to the outer Mongolian mountains. to look at a yak-back riding act as one does. And we were there with the tribal leadership, and there was an interpreter, and they said to my colleague, "Where are you from?" And he said, "Sarasota, Florida." They'd never heard of that. Got to me, and I said, "Baraboo," and they went, "Oh, Baraboo." It's amazing the world over how they know this community and its place within this art form of the circus.
Okay, I'm so glad that you told that story because A, it's insane, and I love that you had that experience and I could live vicariously. And I have to set up where Baraboo is for folks if they don't know. It's about an hour northwest of Madison. So we're a Madison-based podcast. With that context, when I moved out to D.C., I ended up fighting with people about the fact that the Al Ringling Brothers were from Baraboo. And a lot of people would tell me about Sarasota, Florida.
Yes.
They're like, I thought they were from Sarasota, Florida. And I was like, no. And it turns out their story's a little bit complicated, but they have a summer house there, which I finally went to and will now admit that we aren't the only part of their significant story. But this is truly like a global storytelling phenomenon. I do want, if you could, Scott, if you could help set up why Circus World is so significant for the uninitiated.
Oh, that's a great question. So we welcome visitors not only statewide and nationwide, but internationally here to Circus World because we have the largest collection of artifacts and ephemera in the entire world dedicated to this art form of the circus. It's amazing. During the summer, we could see researchers we did last year looking at Elizabethan circus costumes, and they come from England to get into our archives and research center.
To Baraboo. Yeah, this town of, it must be 12,000 now, but it was 10,000.
Yeah, it's this little landlocked Midwestern town that came forward what we now know as the greatest show on earth, right? It's a global brand or a recognized brand, and it's definitely part of the American experience longer than baseball, Coca-Cola, and the Kentucky Derby. And it starts here in Baraboo. Not only that, we have a 64-acre living history site that is part of the Wisconsin Historical Society, and likely the only official government agency that has clowns and ringmasters and human cannonballs on their payroll. Again, celebrating this vibrant part of our state's and nation's history. It's where you get to step up and into the world of the circus. There was this old adage where you could run away and join the circus. Well, here you can for a day, or if you want, come back many days. It's great whether you're 3 to 103. It will connect to you. And at this time, I feel like we all need to sort of disconnect with all the white noise that's around us and really have a great time. Let it go. Forget about the homework assignment or the root canal and sit under a tent and watch somebody fly through the air with the most amazing grace 30 feet above your head, or laugh at a clown. It's okay to laugh at clowns. Our signature exhibit this year is all about clowns. And I know it's arguably the number 1 or 2 phobia in the world these days, because Hollywood and John Wayne Gacy did us no help. But it is a time-honored art form and tradition, and we're celebrating the men and women who made people laugh and continue to make people laugh. And that's a noble profession.
It absolutely is a noble profession. And growing up in Baraboo, I feel like I also just grew up in a time when maybe I don't know how long these are popular, but there were those porcelain clowns that had silk suits and they went everywhere. Yeah. I think they got, wrapped into other kind of kitschy, uneery storytelling, to be fair. But there's a lot of joy, and clowns, especially for kids. I mean, maybe, they're a little different looking, but they go out of their way to make your day, and just great performers. And Chris Fleming, and he's a comedian these days. I just heard him talking about clowns. He said, they teach us how to professionally waste your time and make you enjoy it. Yeah, here's the moment, and it's gorgeous. And I do want to anchor into what you shared about the Circus World's part with the Wisconsin Historical Society, which is headquartered here in Madison.
Yes.
I mean, the town of Baraboo is just marked by the Al Ringling Brothers family and those brothers' tales and their connection to their competitor collaborators, Barnum and Bailey, eventually connecting. There's so much rich history. And I'm curious, how does that collaboration look today? And can you describe the Circus World campus campus, what it's like, because for folks who haven't been there, they might not know just how much is in the museum compared to the circus or the big top performance space.
So yes, we are one of 11 historic sites within the Wisconsin Historical Society family and holdings. Here at Circus World, we're blessed with 64 acres, and it is literally filled to the gills with all things circus, including National Historic Landmark buildings, which are the original buildings that the Ringling Brothers started their circus here in Baraboo in 1884. We mentioned previously that they ended up in Sarasota, which is true, but they start here. In 1884, they're here until arguably the last global pandemic. The Spanish flu started in conjunction with World War I. And by that time, they had acquired their biggest competitor, which was the Barnum and Bailey Circus. So they leave Baraboo and they go to Bridgeport, Connecticut, which at that time was the home of the Barnum and Bailey Circus. It was PT's home, Bridgeport. So they spend a couple winters there. They realize the winters in Bridgeport suck just as bad as they do here in Baraboo. So they set their sights on sunshine and someplace warm that can really accommodate them during the winter, and they head to Sarasota. But it all starts here. So that's what we celebrate, these National Historic Landmark buildings, and we have 9 of them in our collection. We are currently restoring 3 of them through Save America's Treasure grants through the National Park System. So we're excited that these buildings are getting a full restoration. And for the first time in our 67 years soon, our public guests will be allowed to get into these buildings and understand the heritage and the scale of operations that came from these buildings. We have an office building here, which looks like a pretty simple 2-story house in today's urban sprawl, if you will. But out of that house arguably came the largest entertainment enterprise that the world has known, which was the greatest show on earth. I mean, the scale of it is outstanding. Prior to World War I, the U.S. Army comes and studies the circus to figure out how to move massive amounts and tons of equipment and keep people happy and healthy and fed. Similarly, when Nazi spies come and shadow the circus train prior to World War II to learn those same logistical operations that came from here. But out of this house, they ran some of the largest circuses, and over $4 billion in today's money flowed through this house right here on Water Street in this little town. So it's absolutely amazing, the history and heritage that we are custodians of.
I didn't, get a history major or anything like that. I appreciate history, but, I like philosophy and film. When I was a little kid, I appreciated the museum component. I loved the shows and the excitement, but actually, still to this day, I marveled at looking at the wagons and looking at, I said the outfits that people wear, but
the wardrobe. Yes.
You guys have displays of all the different wardrobes.
Right.
And fun little fact, my sister, Monica Martin, was in a band called Fox and actually played under the big top. And I'm pretty sure you guys allowed her to wear an outfit.
We brought all of Fox into our wardrobe building where we have over a couple thousand pieces of wardrobe. And we're like, what speaks to you? Please put it on. We had Fox under our big top tent. I have some of their tickets still as a memory of that event, sitting right here in my desk drawer. It was amazing, right? Baraboo's beloved hometown band under the big top, connecting to that heritage, speaks to my heart. And it was magical times here at Circus World.
It was magical. Yeah. And for you out there listening, if you don't know, my sister is a singer musician, and she was the lead singer and songwriter for Fox. And you should go look up their music because it's very good. But that circus event was incredible. I am extremely jealous about her being able to wear one of the outfits. And she looked incredibly beautiful. I'm pretty sure she ended up with like a red sequence number. Yeah. Anyway, I know I'm talking a lot about clothes, but it's part of the dazzle razzle.
It's part of the razzle dazzle of everything that we do here.
Well, I'm kind of curious, since you're sharing this history with us, and the fact that you've been around with the circus world for some time. Like, what's your story and connection to Circus World?
Oh, that's a great question. So it all starts, I was the quirky kid from Canada that fell in love with the circus. My friends were planning, how to play hockey and going to Ozzy Osbourne concerts, and I was learning how to put clown makeup on because I thought that would be the best job in the world, and it was, to make people laugh and to get paid for it. big win. So I got a degree in Russian history, a minor in political science and psychology, and then took off to the circus. And it has been my home spiritually and 24/7 for the last almost 40 years. I ended up owning my own circus. If you watch Tim Burton's movie Big Fish, you're a film person, the circus, and that was my circus. An amazing adventure for 6 weeks in Montgomery, Alabama, filming that great movie. It's taken me over the world booking talent, performing, and I've had the great honor to be the director here at Circus World for 12 years now. It's home. It's spiritually home to myself and the generations of performers and the generations of children of all ages that have connected to this iconic art form. They all come home to Baraboo for a day at Circus World. And particularly, we have a hometown parade every year. This year, it's going to be on June 13th, where we bring some of those amazing wagons that you mentioned earlier. And we have the world's largest collection of those, over 250 of them in our collection. And they come down the street, and it's really like turning back the dial of time. It's very Norman Rockwell Americana. And you get to sit there and you hear the clank and clunk of the wagon wheels and the horses going by and bands blazing on top with the thundering beat that circus bands play at. It's really special.
I've definitely marched in
Yes.
those parades as a flag guard, dressed up as a clown.
As a clown, the Baraboo High School band dresses up as a clown.
Yeah, it is something to see. It's nostalgic and it's so powerful and fun. And we need some whimsy.
We do.
We need some whimsy. And heck, the circus has gone through some changes, right? Economic forces, cultural taste shifts. I mean, you've been in and around it, like you said, for 4 decades. And Circus World itself, I think, closed down for a second during the pandemic. If I'm wrong, let me know.
Yeah, I was here for it. We closed down performances because it was a time where social distancing needed to be adhered to, at least early on, until we understood. It was the only year that we did not present any kind of performance elements, but we took to the socials. We did these series of crazy music instrument concerts on all these unique instruments, tuned sleigh bells and unifons and calliopes and all this crazy stuff. And we did a new music video every day. And
do you want to describe those different instruments for those who don't know what they are?
Yeah, so there's an instrument called the calliope. At least if you're in the circus, it's called a calliope. If it's the same instrument on a paddle wheeler in the Mississippi, it's called a calliope. And you can have them in air versions where air blows through the whistles, or you can have a steam calliope, which we have here in the America wagon, and you can hear that instrument up to 3 miles away when it's being played because it's pressurized steam going through those whistles. Tuned sleigh bells, think about sleigh bells, Santa Claus having them, all different hanging, about 60 different tunes.
I thought of them as wind chimes.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it. Yeah, spirit catchers. It's got that kind of feel to it. And every sleigh bell represents like a piano, a keyboard. You got your white keys and your black keys and sharps and minors and all. So it's all played there. And then unifon or rattle chimes are like those things that you clack around at New Year's or at a birthday party, and different tones of those. We have a very eclectic and unique musical instrument collection here at Circus World. Another thing that people come from all over the world to see.
And another thing I have lots of photos in front of.
Yeah.
And lots of time sitting and enjoying. Something that I'm curious about is the shifts around tastes for modern day circus. So some of those things have been around for some time, but what's different in today's modern circus versus 50 years ago versus back to the Al Ringling Brothers time?
So the circus has always been a nimble art form, right? I feel like the death knell has been rung numerous times over its lengthy heritage as far as this is the end of the circus. But what makes it magical is what makes it enduring, which means it's a very nimble art form. It transitions to the technology of the time. It transitions to the news of the time or tastes, cultural shifts and tastes. I would say a big change within our industry over the last many years is the youth and circus school movement. It's no longer just a spectator art form. You can go to the Madison Circus Space, or you can go to Wild Rumpus Circus School in Mazo. You can go to just about any major city, and even small and medium-sized cities around the nation, and connect to the circus art form. And you can step into those art forms, not just buy a ticket and watch it. You can become a hula hoop artist. You can connect to the aerial silks. You can become a German wheel performer. So it's really been democratized across our society, which is great for the art form in a way that it's accessible, but also because the next stars of the big top are not now fourth or fifth or ninth generation circus family members. They're first generation people that have gone to a local school or camp or club and learned these amazing skills. And now they're connecting to a different, I'm sure, career path than what they thought they might be in when they first started that journey. So it's very exciting.
It's very exciting. And thank you for bringing up the Madison Circus Space, because they are so awesome. And it immediately made me remember that I'm being derelict in my circus root history and not having had them on the show. But it's such a visual thing. So maybe that's something we can get in there and do some social media videos or something to really show the talent that's there, because there's a lot. And I had not thought about that, where the next big performers for the big top come from. I'll shout out my childhood friend, Carissa Wilson, who probably is like, oh, do you know her? Okay, literally, I have not talked to her in 2 decades, but I'm still Facebook friends. And she and I would do back bend, like neck rollovers. And she was so flexible. And now I see that she's a performer. And you said, yes, so you know her.
I do know Carissa. Yeah, she's been performing most recently at the Dinner Theater up in the Dells. She's been performing there. And 2 years ago, we had an induction of Baraboo natives or residents that have gone on to be in the circus, and it's on the square in downtown Baraboo, and Carissa was enshrined, installed on that circus wall at the same time that I was. So
she's on the wall.
She's on the wall.
My 5th grade friend.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, well, if you see her, tell her I said hello and send her love. She got a shout out on the podcast.
Yay!
Yeah. I love to see that. And one of the things that's different for the circus from when I grew up, I have a number of photos and experiences of being on the elephants.
Yeah.
The elephants would walk around, you got to sit on them, and it was the coolest thing from the small Wisconsin town. But that is a big change. Back in 2023 was the last year Circus World saw touring elephants. And we had former Circus World clown, now state representative, Karen DeSanto. You've heard of her.
I have, a dear friend.
Yes, on to talk about that for a while. So 3 seasons later, what is the circus like without elephants?
Well, we honor their heritage because they've been part of the circus. And as P.T. Barnum said, the pegs that you hang a traditional circus on are clowns and elephants. So we honor their heritage here. It's different, of course. And for those like myself, who I guess I would call myself quasi-traditionalist, they've been part of my life journey. So to not have them here feels like a spiritual void to me. But I do know that they are lovingly at the Endangered Ark Foundation in Hugo, Oklahoma, which is another circus city similar to Baraboo in Oklahoma, where a lot of circuses have come from. So we still honor that legacy, and we still have animals as part of our experience here during the summer. We have some Liberty ponies, and we have a great time-honored bareback riding act that'll be joining us the summer ahead, plus some amazingly trained goats. And I'm a huge goat fan. I used to have a goat act myself. They're extremely smart. You can even litter train goats. I always say they're like dogs ramped up times 12, personality wise and definitely intellect wise. And I've dealt with some smart dogs over the years.
My partner comes up to me once a month and says, "Can we get a goat?" I
love the goats. I do. They're absolutely adorable. So we're doing the goat show this year. Yeah, greatest of all time. The goat show is happening. And what that is deconstructing a circus act from an animal's point of view. What goes into that? What is that experience like? What is the training and positive reinforcement that goes into creating 3 minutes of controlled chaos, I'll call it, underneath the big top? Because, they do what they want at the end of the day. And some days they they do what you think that they're going to do, and other days they just be goats, and that's okay. They have that opportunity and flexibility to do what they want, but they're absolutely adorable. And I love, you get in the morning, how you doing, Gretel, and you get they call right out to you. No better start to the day, at least for myself as a lifelong animal lover, as I know many listeners would be.
Yes, yes. I mean, the joy that is beaming from my face right now hearing about this and they just be goats. Sometimes they're just going to be goats.
They're just goats.
You've shared a little bit about it, but I do want to take a moment to give some emphasis to what's coming up on this season, because you do have a lot cooking. Do you want to share more about the signature exhibit, the Masters of Mirth, focused on clowns and the history in the past 200 years?
Yeah, of course, they've been an essential part of the circus for its over 200-year existence, and even longer as an art form, back to the Elizabethan times, back to the Egyptian times, back to court jesters. I mean, it's a long heritage. So really featuring the elements and peeling back the grease paint, if you will, as far as what goes into the clowning, what are different types of clowns, because there is. How do you fall for a living and be able to walk when you get to be 40? I can attest to that.
The physical humor.
Yeah, slapstick and physical humor that goes into that. The skills.
Which slapstick is a literal stick.
It was. Yeah. It absolutely was. Yeah, that they'd kind of whack themselves during vaudevillian times on their tushkas and they'd let off a big bang. And early Foley studios before we had, could push a button and get whatever sound effect you wanted was a slapstick. So that wardrobe, the props, it's a very colorful exhibit, as you might imagine. So we're thrilled about that to really honor one of the pillars of the circus, which are the clowns. Then we had the Jubilee 250 Big Top Show, and we have a great brand new clown. As part of that, his name is Sebastian Paquisito Videla, and he is an Argentinian circus performer, multi-generation. He's absolutely terrific and great, not only as a clown, but he does this amazing unicycle act, riding on a unicycle that's almost 25 feet in the air, as one does. That's what you do.
The courage. Maybe this is where my courage came from, was watching the circus.
We have an amazing family called the Zhilak Petrov family. They're an internationally renowned juggling family. And not only are they performing this year, they're going to do a brand new piece of programming called Juggling Jamboree, which they're going to teach all of our guests or those that want to participate and how to juggle. How do you start learning how to do that? Don't start with eggs or mom's fine china, that's for sure. Start with scarves or balls or something like that. And here's an insider trick. Start over a bed. Because most people give up because they don't want to keep bending down to pick up what they're obviously going to drop as they're learning. So if you do it over a bed, the reach is much less and you'll have more stamina to keep with learning how to juggle. But thrilled to have them with us. And then we have, speaking of clowns, we have an Emmy Award-winning former dean of Clown College. And yes, Clown College was a thing. And at the time, at its full operation for Ringling Brothers, Barnum and Bailey, it was statistically tougher to get into Clown College than it was Harvard University. And it was teaching these time-honored traditions of clowns because when the Feld family, who are the current owners of Ringling Brothers, Barnum and Bailey Circus and Disney on Ice and Feld Motorsports, when they purchased the Ringling Brothers Circus from the Ringling family, the average age of the clowns in Clown Alley was pretty advanced. And they were pretty concerned as far as who's the next generation of clowns. This was before we had clown camps and colleges. And so they created this institution of higher hilarity called Clown College. So Steve Smith is a former dean, and he's going to be presenting all of his heritage and all of his amazing life journey, not only being the dean of Clown College, the advanced clown for Ringling Brothers, performing on Ringling Brothers, going on to direct Ringling Brothers and the Big Apple Circus, and a contemporary of Chuck Jones, who we would know as the animator for Looney Tunes, Bugs Bunny, and so on and so forth. So he's presenting his show called Class Clown daily in the air-conditioned, that's important, on some warm days here at Circus World Theater here in the Feld Visitor Center. So we got lots going.
Yeah, and when it gets warm outside, I mean, do you guys still have, what is it? It's ice with syrup, red and blue
snow
syrup?
cones.
Yeah, snow cones. See, I mean, it's been a minute. I'm dusting off.
Cotton candy, snow cones, all these timeless tasty treats, we got them all.
What do folks in Madison need to know before planning their trip to Circus World?
Oh, it's a great question. So all the details that you might want to find about your time here, frequently asked questions, how do we get a ticket, what time are the shows? You can find all of that on our website, which is circusworld.org, and that'll take you right to our website, and all those questions will be answered. I would tell you that we see a lot of visitors from Madison and Dane County, and we love that. It's a fairly easy commute and a beautiful drive up 12 if you're coming to the west, or it's pretty quick up the interstate as well. You get here, you can spend the whole day. I always tell people to spend more time than you think you're going to spend because you really can spend the entire day here. And your admission covers all of the performance elements. The only thing that might be extra is if you want any of these tasty treats that we're talking about, or a little souvenir reminder in our gift shop on the way home. But other than that, it's all included in the price, and it's priced for families to be affordable. I know gas is it's a big concern for most households these days. So maybe these staycations, a short drive for the summer ahead, of which we would be one of those, is the way to go and reconnect to this amazing. You're going to have a good time. You're going to spend all day. And again, it's great whether it's the kiddos, if grandma and grandpa come along, or mom and dad. There's something for everybody. And we're better with children of all ages when they walk through our door. It's a really immense honor and responsibility to celebrate in a lively and dynamic way this heritage of our great state and nation.
This is going to be a deep question, but
yes.
What's at stake if we don't?
Oh my
If the circus
goodness.
went away?
That is a deep question. Well, I'm not always sure that people view it as an art form or make that connection. And they don't always understand the heritage and history behind it when they first get here. When they come, they're coming to see the show. Then they fall in across our 64-acre campus to all of this heritage and history that's behind it. And I feel we must never lose touch of our history and our heritage, and we must always support the arts. Any civilization, any community, any person, if they don't connect and have that art form connection to celebrate the possibility of what can be and the exploration and excitement of that must always be part of the human condition. And the circus is a microcosm of that. I always say the Ringling Brothers assembled the world and brought it to your hometown. Then these amazing folks from Quebec formed Cirque du Soleil, and they created a world and they invited you in. It was a completely 360 sort of flip of this art form. And that's what I love. I never know when the next P.T. Barnum, the next Al Ringling, the next Guy Laliberté is going to walk through our doors. And they might be 3 or they might be 30. And this might be the opportunity for that light switch to go off. And that flame of entrepreneurship and flame of passion and art form is lit. I never would want to envision us at a time where we can't get together in a place to celebrate history, heritage, and the arts. And we do that in a pretty spectacular and unique way.
I'm so moved. And that energy is so present for all of the performers. It's like they're giving you their best. And this is their shot, and they're taking their shot. And yeah, I'm really moved. Scott O'Donnell, the director of Circus World, thank you so much for coming on CityCast Madison and sharing this story and what you got cooking for the season.
It's a pleasure. As my great friend Jack Ryan once wrote and created, and we say to everybody, may all your days be circus days.
That's Scott O'Donnell, director of Circus World and Baraboo. That's all for today here on CityCast Madison. I'm your host, Bianca Martin. Don't forget, you can support the show and get great perks by becoming a CityCast Madison neighbor at membership.citycast.fm. That was my circus announcer coming out. And if you enjoyed today's show, why not share this episode with your most whimsical friend or the friend who's always clowning on you? Alrighty, we'll be back tomorrow morning with more stories from around the city. Until then, take good care and thanks for listening.
Hi there, it's Haley Sperling, executive producer of CityCast Madison, and I'm here with Sarah Valencia, the CEO of Journey Mental Health Center. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and we've got a lot to talk about here. So, Sarah, welcome to CityCast Madison.
Thanks, Haley.
Journey Mental Health has been providing mental health and substance use recovery services in Dane County for 77 years. That's a long time. That's incredible. Can you tell me a little bit more about the work that you do and how Journey supports folks right here in Madison?
So Journey Mental Health Center serves more than 10,000 people across Dane County each year, and we provide a wide range of mental health and substance use recovery services. We have a complete full spectrum of care. One of those areas is our 24/7 crisis call center. We take around 35,000 calls annually. And that call center is really there to support folks when they need it, when they are in a crisis. We also have school-based mental health services that reach about 4,000 students a year, and we really help young people get the care that they need early. And for individuals who are living with severe and persistent mental illness, we offer an intensive community-based service program where we support over 300 folks in maintaining their stability and their independence. In addition, we provide outpatient mental health services for children, adults, and families. So no matter where folks are in their journey, we're here to support them.
Wow, you folks are really doing it all. And I know that you just started your role as CEO back in January. How has that been going? And why did you end up pursuing this role here at Journey?
It's been wonderful so far. I've really enjoyed getting to know the services that we offer, connecting with the staff and the partners and the community members that we work with who make this work possible. Professionally, I've worked across the mental health system, from community health systems to hospital systems to the state level work. And so I've seen firsthand where the strengths and gaps are in care professionally. And then also on a personal level, I've navigated the mental health system with a loved one here in Dane County, which gave me a deeper understanding of just how challenging it can be to access support. And those are the perspectives that really drive my commitment to making care more accessible and compassionate and effective here in Dane County.
That is such a great mission. And, you know, as I mentioned at the top, May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and Journey is launching a major campaign to reduce stigma around mental illness and raise funds for all the work that you guys are doing. You know, reducing stigma, that's a huge, huge thing for me. Can you tell me a little bit more about some of the events that you have lined up for this month?
Yes, we also are so excited about everything we have planned for May. We're going to kick things off on May 6th at 6 o'clock p.m. with Drag Bingo featuring Kendra Banks at the Burr Oak. It's going to be super fun, high energy evening with bingo, drinks, prizes, and tons of laughs. Then on Friday, May 15th, we're hosting a youth mental health luncheon and panel. And it's a chance for our community to better understand what young people are facing right now, from mental health to substance use. And we're seeing this through our work with students. The panel is going to include Dr. Jasmine Zapata, a pediatrician and a public health official, Kate Duffy of Motherhood for Good, Tyrone Creech with G-Safe, and Dr. Joe Gothard with MMSD. And then later in the month, on Tuesday, May 19th, we're honored to host Olympic medalist Molly Seidel for a fireside chat that's going to be moderated by Kristen Bry of Ascos, Wisconsin. Molly will share her personal story with mental health and eating disorders and recovery, and it's going to be a really powerful conversation. And then finally, we don't want to forget to invite folks to stop at the Ahara House, which is downtown, for the Mimoka Gallery Night on Friday, May 8th. And to purchase tickets, you can go on to our website, and there's a link at the top of the homepage.
Wow, that is a lot you guys have going on there. And you mentioned a few ways too, but I know that our listeners care deeply about mental health and supporting this community. How can folks get involved with Journey? How can they help what you guys are doing?
There's so many ways to get involved. Attending one of our events in May that I just listed off is a great place to start. They're not only going to be fun, but they will directly support our programs. You can also make a donation through our website, which helps us continue to provide these critical services across our community. And finally, we really encourage folks to stay connected with us, follow us on social media, or subscribe to our newsletter and help us spread the word. Raising awareness is a really powerful way to reduce stigma and ensure people know that help is available.
That is so huge, and exactly why we're having this conversation today. Sarah, thank you so much for being here and for the incredible work that Journey does every single day. Listeners, head to journeymhc.org/MHAM for tickets to all 3 May events, and check out journeymhc.org/donate if you'd like to contribute. We'll have those links in our show notes as well. Thanks for listening.